November 8, 2024, a day like any other. Hana Kobayashi, a vibrant 30-year-old, prepared for a trip. From the lush paradise of Maui to the bustling streets of New York City. A simple layover at LAX stood between her and the city that never sleeps. Little did she know, a nightmare awaited. Hana boarded her flight in Maui, her spirit high. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. She landed at LAX, the gateway to her next adventure. But as she stepped off the plane, a sense of unease washed over her. The air, thick with anticipation, now felt heavy with dread. She navigated the crowded terminal, her heart pounding in her chest. Each step took her further away from the familiar, closer to the unknown. The airport buzzed with activity, a cacophony of sounds and sights, yet Hana felt utterly alone. As minutes turned into hours, Hana's unease grew. The layover, once a mere blip in her journey, stretched on endlessly. The bustling airport, once a symbol of connection, now felt like a labyrinth. She was trapped, lost in a sea of unfamiliar faces. And then, she vanished. Security cameras captured her last known movements. A blur of activity amidst the throngs of travelers. Then, nothing. Hana Kobayashi disappeared without a trace. The woman in the footage, her face etched with a growing sense of panic, ceased to exist. Airports, those bustling crossroads of life, can also be places of chilling anonymity. People disappear into the crowds, their stories left untold. But Hana's disappearance was different. It wasn't just that she vanished, it was the way she vanished. As if swallowed whole by the very airport she stood in. The police were called in, their faces grim. They scoured the terminals, their eyes scanning every corner. They reviewed hours of footage, searching for any clue, any sign. But Hana had vanished, her presence lingering only in the grainy images of security cameras. The airport, once a symbol of travel and excitement, now held a sinister silence. The air, thick with the scent of jet fuel and anticipation, now carried the bitter taste of fear. Hana Kobayashi was gone, and the mystery of her disappearance had only just begun. Before the abyss swallowed her whole, Hana reached out. Desperate texts to her family, each one a chilling echo of her growing fear. "I don't feel safe," she typed, her fingers trembling. "Something is wrong." The words, stark and terrifying, painted a picture of a woman in distress. Her family, thousands of miles away in Maui, received the messages with growing horror. Each ping of the phone, a hammer blow to their hearts. Hana's words, cryptic yet laced with terror, painted a picture too unbearable to comprehend. Frantic calls were made, voices trembling with a fear that transcended miles. Each unanswered ring served as a stark reminder of their powerlessness. The distance, once a mere inconvenience, now felt insurmountable. An ocean separated them from their beloved Hana, an ocean of uncertainty and dread. The messages stopped as abruptly as they began, leaving behind a deafening silence. The family, clinging to the fading hope that Hana was safe, desperately awaited her call, but deep down, a chilling premonition told them that something was terribly, terribly wrong. Ryan Kobayashi, Hana's father, was a man of the sea. His weathered hands, calloused from years spent battling the waves, now trembled with a fear he had never known. The news of his daughter's disappearance hit him like a rogue wave, threatening to drag him under. He boarded the first flight to Los Angeles, his heart heavy with dread. The Pacific Ocean, once a source of comfort and livelihood, now seemed to mock him with its vastness. Every passing mile amplified his fear, pushing him closer to the heart of the unknown. Los Angeles, a city of dreams, held only nightmares for Ryan. He walked the same airport floors where Hana was last seen, his eyes searching for any sign, any trace. The air was thick with the ghosts of her last moments, each breath a reminder of his daughter's absence. Days turned into weeks, and the hope that had sustained Ryan began to dwindle. The weight of his grief, compounded by the agonizing lack of answers, proved too much to bear. Tragically, Ryan Kobayashi was found dead in a Los Angeles motel room on November 26. His death ruled a suicide. The ocean that had defined his life had ultimately claimed him, his spirit broken by a grief too profound to endure. Section 5: Crossing the Border. As the Kobayashi family grappled with their devastating loss, a new twist emerged. Surveillance footage surfaced, not from the labyrinthine halls of LAX, but from a place entirely unexpected, the US-Mexico border. The grainy images showed Hannah, very much alive, crossing into Mexico, alone. The footage, both a beacon of hope and a source of fresh bewilderment, only deepened the mystery surrounding Hannah's disappearance. Why would she flee to another country, leaving her family to grapple with the agonizing possibility of her demise? The questions mounted, each one a painful enigma. Authorities, now operating under the assumption that Hannah was a voluntary missing person, shifted their focus. Was she running from something, or towards someone? The answers, elusive and shrouded in uncertainty, seemed to drift further away with each passing day. The family, battered by grief and bewildered by the new information, clung to the one shred of hope it offered. Hannah was alive. But the circumstances surrounding her disappearance, her cryptic messages, and her solitary journey into Mexico, painted a picture far more complex than a simple case of a missing person. Theories swirled around Hannah's disappearance like dust devils in the desert. Some whispered of a desperate escape, a flight from a past she couldn't outrun. Others speculated about a mental break, a descent into a darkness that had clouded her judgment. The internet, that breeding ground of speculation and conjecture, became a battleground of theories. Amateur sleuths, armed with Google and fueled by curiosity, dissected every detail of Hannah's life. Was she running from a stalker? Had she fallen victim to a cult? The possibilities, each more outlandish than the last, spread like wildfire. Law enforcement, however, remained tight-lipped. The scant details they released only served to fuel the flames of speculation. The mystery of Hannah Kobayashi, once a local news story, had captured the attention of a nation hungry for answers. The mystery of Hannah's disappearance transcended the boundaries of logic and reason. It tapped into our primal fears, our anxieties about the unknown. In a world where information flowed freely, where answers were just a Google search away, the silence surrounding Hannah's case was deafening. The case of Hannah Kobayashi drew eerie parallels to other mysterious disappearances. The name Lars Mittank, a German tourist who vanished from Varna Airport in Bulgaria in 2014, echoed through the online forums dedicated to Hannah's case. Mittank, like Hannah, had sent cryptic messages to his family expressing fear and paranoia. He too had been captured on security footage, running from the airport in a state of apparent panic. These cases, seemingly unconnected by time or geography, shared a chilling thread of mystery. The vanished individuals, seemingly ordinary people leading ordinary lives, were united by the inexplicable circumstances of their disappearances. Their stories, tragic and haunting, served as stark reminders of the fragility of our existence. The parallels between Hannah's case and that of Lars Mittank sent chills down the spines of those following her story. Could it be that some unseen force, some sinister hand, was at play in both cases? The possibility, while unsettling, was impossible to ignore. The human mind, wired to seek patterns and explanations, grappled with the unknown. In the absence of concrete answers, we turned to speculation, to theories that offered a glimmer of understanding in a sea of uncertainty. The cases of Hannah Kobayashi and Lars Mittank, forever linked in the annals of unexplained disappearances, served as chilling reminders of the mysteries that continue to baffle and haunt us. Just when all hope seemed lost, a flicker of light pierced the darkness. After a month of agonizing uncertainty, Hannah Kobayashi reappeared as abruptly as she had vanished. The news, met with a mix of relief and disbelief, spread like wildfire. Details surrounding her reappearance were scarce. The family, understandably eager to shield Hannah from the media frenzy that had engulfed her case, released a statement asking for privacy. The LAPD, citing the sensitive nature of the case, declined to comment further. Hannah's return, while a cause for celebration, did little to quell the storm of questions surrounding her disappearance. Where had she been? What had transpired during those lost weeks? The answers, it seemed, remained locked away in the recesses of Hannah's memory. The world watched and waited, eager for an explanation, for a glimpse into the enigma that was Hannah Kobayashi. But the answers, if they existed at all, were not forthcoming. Hannah's reappearance, while marking the end of a harrowing ordeal, did little to unravel the tangled threads of her disappearance. The case of Hannah Kobayashi, once a source of national intrigue, slowly faded from the headlines. Life, as it always does, moved on. But for those who had followed her story, who had been touched by the mystery and the tragedy, questions lingered. What had driven Hannah to flee to Mexico? What demons had she faced in those lost weeks? And what of the cryptic messages, the chilling pleas for help that had sent shivers down the spines of a nation? The answers, elusive and perhaps forever out of reach, continued to haunt the fringes of our collective consciousness. The case of Hana Kobayashi, a stark reminder of the mysteries that lurk beneath the surface of our everyday lives, challenged our perceptions of safety and sanity. It forced us to confront the uncomfortable reality that sometimes the most unsettling questions have no answers. And so, the story of Hana Kobayashi, a tale of disappearance, despair, and ultimately, resilience, lived on, not as a solved mystery but as a chilling reminder of the unknown, of the shadows that lurk at the edges of our understanding. A reminder that sometimes the most enduring mysteries are those that remain unsolved.